So what do you think? Will it replace engineers like us, front end, back end? What about future of AI jobs?
जॉब्स रिप्लेस नहीं हो रही हैं. जिनको AI आता है वो जॉब्स लेने वाले हैं. कीप लर्निंग, यू डोंट स्टॉप लर्निंग, यू डोंट से दैट आई एम डन, दिस इज द फेज दैट इट इज गोइंग टू स्टॉप आफ्टर दिस. So keep learning, don't say that it's not my cup of tea. We have to drink that tea, everybody has to.
For fresher, how many rounds are there?
We actually have a consistent interview process. Each level has a different number of rounds.
And what are the criteria you majorly focus on resume? Because sometimes people are applying and they didn't get the call back.
AI will not replace you, but people who are able to use AI in a much better way than you will replace you.
People we have here, of course, they're the finest people from their craft and their skill and how they operate.
If you are not in tech, क्या कर रहे होगे अगर आप tech में
I
नहीं
would
हो?
have been a journalist.
What about
I
you?
would have become a cricketer. I always wanted to become, but never became one.
What about DSA?
DSA is very important.
Been with companies that have had phenomenal culture. जब मैं आया था इधर मेरा बार बहुत हाई था.
सर मैं आया हूँ, मेरा बार पता है कैसे है? मैं क्रिकेट. There are n number of activities. सारी एक्टिविटीज 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 प्ले स्टेशन. आप 9 घंटे नहीं, आप 13 घंटे काम करोगे. वाई भी ऐसी है. अरे आ गए आप. तो आज इस वीडियो में बहुत मजा आने वाला है जी. आज मैं आपको एक ऐसी जगह लेके चलूंगा जहां आपको बहुत सारी चीजें पता चलेंगी. अगर आप जॉब स्विच कर रहे हैं, आप एआई के अराउंड बहुत कंफ्यूज हैं, तो इस वीडियो में आपको सब जानने को मिलेगा. बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव वीडियो है. बाकी बात मैं करता हूं लोकेशन पे. चलिए. हाय एवरीवन, कैसे हैं आप लोग? उम्मीद करता हूं कि अच्छे होंगे. तो मैं आ गया हूं जी आज सर्विस नाउ हैदराबाद ऑफिस. फ्यूचर ऑफ एआई जॉब्स, बहुत हाइप है एआई के ऊपर. कंपनी में काम कैसे होता है आज हम समझेंगे. यहाँ के इंजीनियर से कैसे वो एआई को यूज़ कर रहे हैं, कैसे सर्विस नाउ एआई को यूज़ कर रही है और प्रोडक्ट्स बना रही है. तो आज हम बात करेंगे एचआर के साथ, इंजीनियर्स के साथ, टेक्निकल रिक्रूटर के साथ. क्या वो एक सीवी में देखते हैं, क्या सोचते हैं कि सीवी को लेफ्ट करना है या राइट करना है, कैसे सोचते हैं. सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग हेड से भी बात करेंगे, उनका ही माइंडसेट समझेंगे. तो ये पूरा वीडियो पैक्ड है, आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. कौन कौन से रूल्स हैं सर्विस नाउ में एआई के लिए, कैसे आपको अप्लाई करना है, वो सारे इंसाइट्स आपको इस वीडियो में मिलने वाले हैं. बने रहिए. शर्त एक ही है कि आपको वीडियो पूरा देखना पड़ेगा. आपको एक माइंडसेट समझ आएगा कि कैसे, अगर आप एक डेवलपर हैं अभी, अगर आपको एआई में ट्रांजिशन करना है तो आप कैसे कर सकते हो. वो सब बातें आपको इस वीडियो में जानने को मिलेंगी. ईयरफोन लगा लो, वीडियो को लास्ट तक देखना, वीडियो को लाइक करना, शेयर करना. लाइक एम इस 5000 कर देना ऐसी और इंटरेस्टिंग पॉडकास्ट के लिए. एंड आप बहुत कुछ सीखेंगे, ये मेरा आपसे प्रॉमिस है. एंड कॉमेंट जरूर करना और सब्सक्राइब भी करना. चलिए. वाह, वेरी नाइस. देखो जी, काम आप कर रहे हो, चाहे किसी रोल पे भी कर रहे हो, हेल्थ इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड सर्विस नाउ में इस तरीके की फैसिलिटीज़ है जहाँ पे आप हेल्थ के साथ साथ काम भी कर रहे हो और आप हर चीज़ को इजीली बैलेंस कर पा रहे हो. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. हेल्थ बहुत जरूरी. सो वी हैव प्रबिता एंड अभिज्ञा, राइट?
Yes.
सो 2 years and 1 year.
Yes.
So I have few questions for you, but before I ask questions, so you can introduce first yourself. अभी क्या काम कर रहे हो, कितना एक्सपीरियंस हो गया है, please.
Sure. Maybe I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am Abhignya. I have joined here straight from college, campus placements, and 2 साल हो चुके हैं मुझे यहाँ पे. And I work as a machine learning engineer in the team which builds LLMs. So we are the core LLM team. I primarily work in data generation. तो वो ट्रेनिंग के लिए हो सकता है या वो मॉडल इवैल्यूएशन के लिए हो सकता है. And among many other things, छोटी छोटी चीज़ें आती रहती हैं. I have worked in content moderation for models and all. But yeah, that's more or less.
So मुझे ये बताओ, जैसे ChatGPT हम यूज़ करते हैं, प्रॉम्प्टिंग करते हैं, हमें रिस्पॉन्स आता है. एक LLM मॉडल ही है. बहुत सारे मार्केट में मॉडल्स हैं. तो यहाँ पे आप मॉडल को ही ट्रेन कर रहे हो.
तो 2-3 चीज़ें हैं. वी हैव अ टीम इन US जो हमारी ही टीम है, सॉर्ट ऑफ हमारी ही VP के अंडर आती है. वो स्क्रैच से प्री ट्रेन करके मॉडल बना रहे हैं. बट प्रोडक्शन के लिए वी ऑल्सो वर्क, जिसमें हम ओपन कोई भी एक मॉडल लेते हैं, जैसे कि मिस्ट्रेल हो सकता है या लामा हो सकता है. एंड उसके ऊपर वी डू सम अमाउंट ऑफ प्री ट्रेनिंग एंड सम अमाउंट ऑफ SFT एंड देन सम अमाउंट ऑफ अलाइनमेंट.
मेन कोर लैंग्वेज
core language Python रहती है,
Python,
because
okay.
Python is the only language using which you can train models. So yeah.
And what about you, Prabitha?
Yeah, I'm Prabitha. I work as an associate data platform AI engineer. So I am also right out of college, 2024 engineering pass out, and I joined here as an intern and then got converted into full time. So as full time, it's been 1 year here. So pretty
So
excited.
how was your journey so far? Like एक साल हो गया है.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, I have to say, because this is my first company, and I have been working here as an intern and then as a full time, so I know the teams well. I know how the projects here work and everything, and most importantly, my favorite role, AI.
AI.
So
So अभी AI में क्या कर रहे हो? What exactly you are doing? And if you can share some real life example.
sure. So basically, we build AI applications. So
Okay.
I work in data and analytics team. So basically, in data and analytics team, we have certain use cases, like if, for example, if a user is going and asking a question, give me a CSV by Geo. And then those kind of questions, today what will have to happen, people have to go to the dashboards, figure out the answers and all. But if we really think, that need not be the scenario. Like they can ask in a chatbot and then it's going to give you an answer in seconds. So basically a role which an analyst can do, now AI application can do. So we have built such an application and we have huge user base for that right now. So I'm pretty excited about that application because I was one of the pioneer in building that application. So pretty excited. So one thing that I really have to highlight is
Yeah.
that there is no senior junior thing in ServiceNow. I'll have
No
to
sir,
tell you.
no ma'am.
Yeah, and most importantly, like for example, they give you the opportunity to represent ServiceNow in larger scales. For example, I represented ServiceNow in one of the Snowflake World Tour that happened,
Okay.
where I presented the project that we have built, like how ServiceNow is using Snowflake. So we are given that opportunity, even though I'm just a year experienced here, still I am given that opportunity to go and speak in front of 800 plus people. So that was a huge crowd. So that opportunity here in ServiceNow is pretty amazing. You don't have to have much experience. All you have to have is that good knowledge in whatever you're doing and good knowledge in how you are presenting your stuff. So yeah.
वेरी नाइस. तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि एक आपको इंसाइट्स मिल रहे होंगे जब कोई कंपनी में काम करता है, तो क्या एक माइंडसेट चाहिए. जो हम इंटरनेट पे एआई की हाइप सुनते हैं और एक्चुअल जो वर्क है बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. वन पीस ऑफ एडवाइस फ्रॉम योर साइड, लाइक अगर कोई एआई में आना चाहता है, बिकॉज यू नो दैट एआई एंड मशीन लर्निंग ये रोल अलग अलग है. जैसे इनका रोल अलग है, आपका अलग है, आप मॉडल ट्रेन कर रहे हो. तो जो भी बच्चा को कॉलेज में देख रहा है या कोई वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल है जिसका 1 साल एक्सपीरियंस है, 2 साल एक्सपीरियंस है, कैसे वो आ सकता है इस लाइन में?
I think बहुत important है not to get very swayed away by the LLM wave. LLMs are in short, वो जो पूरा एक ML progression हुआ है, it's a part of that. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक दिन एक LLM model is completely separate. So I think बहुत important है to start from the basics. From linear regression, you should understand the math, you should understand the logic, you should understand, go read the papers, read the paper about attention. That's the most important paper of this decade, I believe. Ki how attention was discovered, used in models,
Right.
used in information gathering, and that's the key of all these models. I understand बहुत सारे different चीज़ें हैं. There are LLMs, but I think start from the basics. Start from learning the basic 4-5 algorithms, linear regression, logistic regression, and all that. उसके बाद move on to the LLM side of things. And हाँ, मतलब उससे आई थिंक अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी बेटर आएगी, उससे बिल्ड करना भी बेटर समझ में आएगा, चीज़ें कैसे मॉडल्स काम करते हैं ये बेटर समझ आएगा. सो इफ़ यू आर इन कॉलेज, यू शुड डेफिनेटली नॉट इग्नोर द बेसिक ML, यू शुड नॉट इग्नोर द बेसिक algebra that goes behind these models. And yeah, I think that's
What about DSA?
DSA is very important क्योंकि when you build a model, जैसे कि she is saying, right, she built a product, but let's say the model is really good, but she said 5 seconds में आंसर आता है. 5 seconds में
Right.
आंसर कैसे आता है? That is data structure.
Right.
That is like optimization. That you can't do without data structure. And I think it's very important. Like basics of logic, कोई problem solving, you get that acumen, you build that acumen using data structures. Yeah.
And what is your point of view
On DSA.
on DSA?
Yeah, DSA is very very important, I'll say, and especially in product-based companies like ServiceNow.
Absolutely. प्रोडक्ट
Yeah.
फेस करने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है.
Yeah, so basically here we build the products, we innovate. So for that, anyone can build the product, but having that optimized product experience for the user, that's more important, I would say. So if I build the chatbot and if it's going to take 15-20 seconds, the users will not be happy. They want the answers in seconds, like just
Right.
2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. So that how can you do? You have to know the knowledge of it. So I always recommend people to learn graphs, trees, and DP.
Yeah.
I will strongly suggest
very
that
important
for
if-
the product-based companies.
If yes, for product-based company, it's very important क्योंकि initial round ही filter round इसी के base पे है.
Exactly.
Right.
Because even in our interviews, the first round was DSA, of
DSA.
course.
Okay.
So
And आपका भी DSA था?
Yes, yes. Now I take interviews also, तो उसमें भी DSA is the first round.
when I was an intern, generally we had 3 rounds of interview, but then I got my internship in 2 interviews itself. But yeah, primarily it's 3.
Okay, 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And what about?
So back in college, I was hired for software engineering. This is थोड़ा interesting है ये. मेरी resume के basis पे they figured out that I have a lot of ML projects, and they were hiring for the ML team. So they asked me if I want to move, and that was the best decision. I moved to ML role. So I wanted an ML role, and I was very happy. तो back then software के लिए तो they took 3 interviews, जिसमें से एक HR होता है and 2 coding rounds होते हैं. उसके अलावा अभी when we take an interview, we for our team, like if we are doing any lateral hiring, we take 1 coding interview which is proper DSA.
Proper DSA.
And coding, yeah.
Okay.
And 1 round
And label? It's like LeetCode medium चलेगा?
Yeah, LeetCode medium to hard, yeah.
Medium to hard. Okay.
Yes, you will not be asked easy questions, that is
Yeah.
for sure. And
So you know, ये जो डिस्कशन अभी हम कर रहे हैं आपको बहुत आइडिया मिलेगा कि आपको माइंडसेट, इट्स ऑल अबाउट माइंडसेट.
yes.
आपको कैसा माइंडसेट डेवलप करना है, वरना टाइम तो निकलता जाएगा. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो आई हैव वन रैपिड फायर टू बोथ ऑफ यू.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to pick one and थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन भी कर सकते हो if you have some reason, right? So tea or coffee at workplace?
Coffee. I don't drink tea.
Okay, and what about you?
Tea.
Tea? Okay, remote
Oh,
work.
this is so opposite. You are a South Indian. You should be drinking coffee. And I should be a chai person.
No.
Opposite हो गया. Okay, remote work or office vibe?
I'd like a balance of both. मैं बहुत दिन घर पे रहूँगी तो it is very gloomy. मैं सो जाऊँगी. और मैं बहुत ऑफिस आती हूँ तो मैं बहुत थक जाती हूँ. तो I think balance.
Hybrid.
हाइब्रिड.
Yeah.
एक्चुअली मुझे ऐसा लगता है, मेरा भी जैसे ऑफिस जाता हूँ मैं, तो वो भी ज़रूरी है.
Yes.
Yeah.
आप नेटवर्किंग हो गया, लोगों से मिलते हो.
That's very, very
वर्चुअली यू नो यू आर कनेक्टेड, बट समवेयर मुझे लगता है इमोशंस
Yeah, yeah.
इट्स लाइक नहीं रहते हैं.
I did an internship in virtual, full virtual, and I don't know. नहीं मतलब मुझे नहीं जमता.
Yeah, but that's really important to build networks, I will say, because a lot of the opportunities that I get was because of the
Referral is very
networking.
important. If you have
Right.
solid network over the LinkedIn ना, आपको opportunities product company से वहीं से आएंगी.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are not in tech, what would be you know आप क्या कर रहे होगे अगर आप tech में
I
नहीं
would
हो?
have been a journalist.
Oh. ये आप लग भी रहे हो मुझे. Okay, and what about
I
you?
would have become a cricketer. I always wanted to become, but never became one.
तो ऊपर आई थिंक एक प्लेस है क्रिकेट का, जाते हो?
yeah, we have.
Okay, one word to describe ServiceNow.
Innovative.
Okay,
The best.
the best. Okay. Okay, it was nice talking to both of you. Thank you so much for your time and wishing you all the best for your upcoming projects. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
भाई साहब ऐसा है, प्रोडक्ट कंपनी का जो कल्चर है ना और जो फैसिलिटीज़ है, नो डाउट यार आप काम कर रहे हो. हमने भी बहुत सारे प्लेसेस एक्सप्लोर किए एंड दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द प्लेस जहाँ पे आप रेस्ट कर सकते हो, चिल कर सकते हो, सो सकते हो एंड अपने काम को दोबारा रिज्यूम कर सकते हो. हाय वरुण, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So I have few question for you.
Yeah.
Like in ServiceNow especially, you know, in AI बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है अभी ServiceNow में, काफी projects हैं, बहुत engineers hire हो रहे हैं. अभी आपको पता है मार्केट में AI की hype है.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the work culture here at ServiceNow?
I think firstly, you know, it's, मेरा भी ServiceNow में 1 साल हुआ है, and then you know I've been in the industry for about 16-17 years, spent in probably the largest tech companies before this, been with companies that have had phenomenal culture. तो जब मैं आया था इधर मेरा बार बहुत हाई था in terms of the company and
सर मैं आया हूँ, मेरा बार पता है कैसे मैं क्रिकेट. There are n number of activities.
No, but it's I mean, when I came in here, I think I was just blown away, right?
Yeah.
Just by the people, firstly. I think the people we have here, of course, they're the finest people from, their craft and their skill and how they operate. I think just the way they are as people themselves, right? I think it embodies the values that ServiceNow, stands for. I think you talk to the people, humility will come to the fore, their hunger and their ability to learn, all of that. So I think that's what the people, I think, are the foremost, what makes this company. Two, I think, as you said, right? We are in a technological wave that we've never seen before.
Right.
So I think that's the other place where I think ServiceNow, we're at the foundation of our culture, that's really helping us propel us forward, right? I think one, we are truly honest about where we are today in the industry, where we are truly creating that differentiated value for our customers, where we need to step up. And we, I think, have the leadership who are also very honest in terms of translating that to everybody across, right? Saying, here's where we are today, here's where we need to step up. And that's really energizing for everybody, I think, to operate, right?
No, firstly, I like your energy. I can feel that vibe. How does ServiceNow support learnings for engineers? It's like the tech company, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are working in AI projects.
Mm-hmm.
So how companies support that kind of talent?
See, I think firstly, just getting everybody to upskill themselves, right? I think that's a foremost piece in terms of enabling people. We have what we've launched, ServiceNow University, which is a phenomenal opportunity to everybody to leverage, whether there are our employees, our customers, our partners, everybody comes on board. For our own employees, I think we have a lot of assessments that we do. We then enable and empower them with the right capability interventions that they can undertake. We have our own, portals where, we can have self-assessments, done, and people then operate and then learn through those. So I truly believe that, we, have a great platform that's being driven both, not just for their own technical, abilities, also in terms of, let's say, how roles are evolving.
Right.
How each one needs to adopt themselves going forward.
Right.
For our managers, for our leaders, we have, how do you operate in a world where you probably don't know what's going to happen a month from now?
Right.
Adaptive leadership. How do you kind of transform yourself and how you operate as a manager, as a leader, and as an employee, in terms of upskilling yourself. So for that forum, I think, we have a phenomenal, platform, that we've set for ourselves here. At ServiceNow, where I think everybody can just take on the next leap in terms of how their role is transforming, how the industry is moving, and really upskill themselves to kind of move
I
forward.
always believe when you have that kind of opportunities, facilities, directly indirectly आप automatically motivate हो जाते हो. आप काम कर रहे हो, you have good sort of facilities in terms of upskilling, तो automatically आपका mind एक right direction में work करता है. Thank you so much, Varun, for your time. And one piece of advice, because you have good sort of experience, 17 years, it's huge number, I would say. One piece of advice for my audience, based on your experience. जितने अभी आपको देख रहे हैं 2 साल, 3 years, they want to, especially अगर उनको ServiceNow join करना है. So according to you, one piece of advice for them?
Look, I think the industry is evolving at a phenomenal, pace. We are at a technological shift that we've probably never seen in our lifetimes, right? I think this is the biggest shift. ServiceNow, we believe, is, I think, really at the forefront of how we want to drive this. We're all super excited. And for people who are coming in, there's no better time to learn. We have all the tools that are there, at our fingertips now in terms of how we want to learn, how we want to operate. I think it's just the mindset, right? I think unlearning probably a lot of things or the ways that we were operating, in a way that really makes sense, which will propel you to learn, operating with a growth mindset, and then really taking the leap of faith, in terms of having confidence in your own abilities to kind of just learn and move forward and take on, what's going to come up, right? I think it's going to be a super exciting time, and the kind of impact that we'll create, not just, in the industry, but across, every facet of life. I think that's going to be really fascinating.
It's very important. If you are upskilling, आप टाइम लेकर अपने आप को अपस्किल कर रहे हो, टाइम लगेगा बट हो जाता है.
No, absolutely. And I think, the opportunities are immense, right? I think, and we've seen that in the many shifts we've had over the decades on technology shifts. roles evolve, new opportunities come in, and I think it's just going to be a phenomenal space of how we're going to operate. It's super exciting, to be honest, and can't wait for I think what we are going to really get through and achieve, and the impact that I think we'll create.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
thank you
it was
so much.
Nice talking to
Great
you.
talking to you.
Thank you so much. Now, seriously? Come on, yeah. These are the activities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And yes, PlayStation. Oh my God. Seriously यार, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है आप 9 घंटे नहीं, आप 13 घंटे काम करोगे. वाइब भी ऐसी है. Hi Sujit, thank you so much for joining. And 22 years आपका total experience है, and I want to know more about AI from your end. So, but you can start a little bit about yourself, and I'll ask questions accordingly. Please.
Sure, Rajat. My name is Sujit Sharma. I have been in this industry for more than 22 years now. I started my career back in 2003 as a software engineer, and my first job was to start as a developer in C language. And that was not my first experience in coding, though. I have been coding since class 8. Fortunately, my school had that opportunity for us to start coding early in our days. And my first programming language was GW Basic. And I used to like coding all the time. After graduating from computer science and engineering stream, I got selected into Satyam Computers, and I've been joined as a developer, and I started working in C. One thing that I learned early in my career was that the language is just a way of implementing solutions. There were always opportunities open to learn new things, and I quickly adopted to learn Java as my programming language and became a big fan of it. Since then, there has been so many technology changes. I've worked with Strut, Spring frameworks, and a lot of other Hibernate, Toplink, Spring Boot, and all those things. And we have been moving so many frameworks and technologies. At the same time, at that era, we had these mobile development that were happening. The first framework that I got engaged into was called Dojo.
Okay.
And it was more of my learning inquisitiveness that I got into learning JavaScript as a programming language. That time it was not that popular for core Java developer to do JavaScript programming and all. There I got this opportunity to join ServiceNow. I joined as when the company was very new. India में बस चंद developers थे जो और चंद लोग थे जो हम लोग start किए यहाँ पे. And when we started, I joined as a senior developer. Mostly because of my JavaScript skill, because ServiceNow एक platform company है, so it was a net new experience for me. इससे पहले मैं open source में काम करता था, तो वहाँ पे यहाँ पे आने के बाद मुझे ये सीखने को मिला कि SaaS based solutions and PaaS based solutions में difference क्या होता है, how customers take it, and how these platforms actually accelerate your growth path of your product and help your customers succeed in their solutions.
So like 22 years long journey, आपने वो टाइम भी देखा है जब C language वाला और अब टेक्नोलॉजी कितनी इवॉल्व हो गई है, राइट? Now my question is, in today's time जो AI की hype है over the market, so what do you think, will it replace engineers like us, front end, back end? बहुत hype है, इंटरनेट पे बहुत hype रहती है, but आप सिस्टम के अंदर हो, you're already working. So what is your point of view?
It's a great question, and I think कि सबको कोई अभी ये क्वेश्चन है, सब कोई सोच रहे हैं कि मेरे जॉब के साथ क्या होने वाला है. But I have seen so many technologies coming in, and every time something new happens, some new concept comes in, it's more about the individual's ability to learn and adapt their technical skills and expand their learning on these platforms, frameworks, technologies, which has helped them to actually helped me to at least grow in my career. It's always about being able to learn and adopt. So for jobs, I don't think like it is a matter that whether it will be replaced or not. It's more about, if I can say it in this way, jobs replace नहीं हो रही हैं. जिनको AI आता है वो jobs लेने वाले हैं. तो we need to learn that at every level. Either you are a developer, designer, or any other.
But transition is possible if someone already working as a developer, so they can easily अगर adapt करके आप सीख सकते हो.
Absolutely. To a
Yeah.
large extent, Ajay, I'll say कि AI enhances our performance. Like whatever we are doing in whichever stream we are in, it is going to help us do it better, more performant, more realistic kind of output.
What about future of AI jobs? I
Future
can
of-
see in ServiceNow the opportunities. I can see, people are working in AI.
So AI is nothing new. I have been through this era which we used to call ML AI era,
Yeah.
and it has been there for a long time. There has been few key innovations which has kind of driven this adoption of AI in past 1-2 years. One of that is called you must be knowing this, called transformers, right? Like
Right.
the GPT ka key
Yeah,
part
yeah,
jo
yeah,
hai.
yeah.
So that has kind of accelerated the innovation in those, and the ability for computer scientists to kind of utilize the scale of processing as well now, with being able to identify billions of parameters to run their models and tune their models with those parameters, has kind of pushed or accelerated the AI that we have been discussing for so long. I remember doing courses like 10 years or 12 years back when we used to start to learn about how to do training of models
Yeah.
and all. Lekin with the innovation of transformation and GPT and the new concepts that are coming, we need to start learning those. And as you were asking कि future क्या है
Future
job
क्या
का,
है?
हमें वो मालूम होना होगा, एज अ डेवलपर हमें मालूम होना होगा कि कैसे ये काम करता है. अब हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि हमें इम्पैक्ट नहीं करता. देयर इज एन AI team which will look into it. Everybody needs to know how AI model works, how
Right.
it actually we can utilize it to develop our solution.
Thank you so much, Sujit, for your time. It was great
Thanks,
talking to you. One piece of advice to my audience, if they want to grow in IT, especially in AI.
In any field, in any time, in my 2 years, I have seen that you have to keep learning. You don't stop learning. You don't say that I'm done. This is the phase that it is going to stop after this. It's always going to be there. Changes, truth of life. So keep learning. Don't stop. Don't say that it's not my cup of tea. We have to drink that tea. Everybody has to.
Absolutely. मैं हमेशा अपने पॉडकास्ट में एक बात कहता हूँ कि इन IT स्पेशली यू कांट से लाइक आई एम डन.
Never. We are never done. We have constantly been learning, and I'm happy that I'm part of this learning
Yeah.
journey.
Thank you, Sujit. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Ayush.
Thank you.
Great meeting you.
Hi Ram, thank you so much for giving your time.
Yeah, Ajay, thanks.
So I have few sort of questions for you. So my question is, what kind of skills should someone focus on if they want to join AI team, especially in ServiceNow?
In ServiceNow.
ServiceNow.
Okay. That's a nice question. In fact, we being an AI company, we definitely need somebody who's strong from a coding background.
Yeah.
And we also required GenAI and the machine learning skills, and obviously we require LLM, some of the specialized skills in LLM and the RAG rating. And those are actually the key skills that we look, in addition to problem solving or a design and architecture skills that somebody comes, especially engineering background, who comes from that.
But for fresher, how many rounds are there?
So we actually have a consistent interview process. We have
Okay.
a standardized process that we look for. Each level has a different number of rounds. It depends on the position that you apply. Let's assume that you're applying for a senior role, that you have about 4 levels of discussions, which largely focus on the technical for about 3 discussions, and the one is about techno-managerial, and then culture at that, which is must for service. Now we definitely look for it.
And DSA?
When I say that technical, the first 3 rounds, which actually focuses on the core technical skills, domain skills, and the data structures and algorithm and their problem solving skills, which is must. And at a senior level, we also check design patterns.
Design patterns. But but especially for AI rules, DSA round is also there, right?
Exactly, definitely. We do look at problem solving, data structures, design skills are common for across engineering roles that we hire.
Okay. And what are the criterias you majorly focus on resume when you while screening? Because sometimes people are applying, even ServiceNow career portal also.
Right.
They do apply, but they didn't get the call back.
So for every job description that we have certain mandatory skills, which let's assume, as I mentioned, that AI roles, we definitely look for somebody who comes from a coding background and who has done LLM. They've used some of the background on GenAI, machine learning skills, which are required for that role. So first, we do look at mandatory required skills that for the jobs that we have opening. Second, obviously, we also look at the projects, how they have actually, what projects that they have worked, and what was their contribution. Largely the second that we look at it. And of course, further, we do have some phone conversations. Our recruiters do phone conversations with the candidates, applicants, and then we do a little more deep dive a bit. What's their contribution, how they've used the skills, why they have to use certain design patterns, why not other design patterns for in the project perspective. So we do a little more deep dive on the technical front as well.
What is one piece of advice to my audience, whosoever is looking for a job change? So according to you, because you are in the system, right?
Yeah.
So you know that, and while screening, what should be the right skills present in this resume?
Right.
So what would be the piece of advice to my audience?
So firstly, from a resume perspective, ensure that you provide the skills that you actually worked in detail and broaden your product scope that you actually contributed. Let's assume certain roles like a designer roles or a researcher roles that you're applying, which requires a portfolio. Ensure that you have a broader, impactful portfolio, which actually helps any company to review and make a decision that this person is good for this role. I think that's definitely which is required for a resume perspective.
Thank you so much, Ram, for giving your time. And I hope जी आपको काफ़ी clarity मिली होगी. And basically the important thing is जो भी आप resume बना रहे हो उसमें right keywords का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, तभी वो limelight में आता है. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Ajay.
क्या बात है यार, क्या बात है. सो अगर कोड अंदर नहीं हो रहा है, किसी से परेशान हो, बाहर आओ, आराम से कोड करो, एकदम वाइब भी अलग है. और जो मौसम है वो तो प्लेजेंट है ही, और बहुत अच्छा है यार. नाइस, वेरी नाइस, सीरियसली यार. ServiceNow का जो कैंपस है ना ये हैदराबाद का, अल्टीमेट. हाय सुमित, like as a leader, so you have around 30 years, right? So what piece of advice you can give to my audience जो AI space में आना चाहते हैं?
Yeah, no, so I think AI has been there for many years,
Yeah.
right? We started with prediction AI, like what things do you have to buy in Amazon next, Netflix पे कौन सा show देखना है, all that stuff. Then from prediction we moved to very recently to generative AI that started to generate content. It started doing thinking for us, and now agentic AI. So all this has been happening in a very short amount of time. So the first thing that I advise to anybody who wants to get into space is the ability to learn is more important. The ability to learn, unlearn, relearn. And if you use ChatGPT for your personal use or Perplexity or whatever, you would realize the art of asking the right question has become more important than knowing the answer. Right? So how do you frame the question? And that I think is important even in your work. So asking the right question, ability to learn, so that's one for me. The second one would be about adaptability. जब हम लोग बड़े हो रहे थे, there was one linear career path. Now things are changing. You are doing content production, right? That's not something that existed as a profession when I was growing up. Now things have changed. So even in the tech world, right, we keep talking about need for professions or roles like AI ethics officer. An AI ethics officer is not available in hundreds in the market today. So how do you kind of become an AI ethics officer, right? You could be a great legal person in the law department of an organization, but has a knack of technology. You could end up becoming an AI ethics officer. Similarly, somebody in HR who handles employee cases, looks at fairness between employee-manager relationship. If that person has a knack for technology, that person can become an AI ethics officer. You could start as a developer, you could end up being a UX designer, you could do whatever, right? So look at opportunities for growth, not in a straight line.
Yeah.
So that would be the second advice. The third would be, even though we keep talking about AI and new technology, etc., the need for human skills is always been there and will remain there. Being empathetic, being collaborative, to be honest, being able to dream big. Humans dream. AI doesn't dream. With our dreams, we are able to kind of fulfill the needs of the technology. So continue to dream big is the third one.
Audience always says like, कि, will AI replace engineers?
No, so my answer to that is, AI will not replace you, but people who are able to use AI in a much better way than you will replace you.
Definitely.
It's a tool, it's a technology. Like how best we use it is up to us. So don't be afraid of AI, just embrace it.
And upskilling yourself.
That's always been the part.
थैंक यू सो मच सुमित,
Thank you very
थैंक्स फॉर योर
much.
टाइम, थैंक यू।
Absolutely.
उम्मीद है जी इस वीडियो में बहुत कुछ सीखा होगा। हमने इंजीनियर के साथ बात करी, हमने एचआर के साथ बात करी, हमने टेक्निकल रिक्रूटर के साथ बात करी, हमने इंजीनियरिंग हेड के साथ भी बात करी। एंड मेरा इस वीडियो में आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव, एक माइंडसेट डेवलप करवाना था कि कैसा कंपनी में काम हो रहा है। एंड सर्विसनाउ की सबसे अच्छी चीज़ मुझे ये लगी, यहाँ पे कटिंग एज टेक्नोलॉजी में काम हो रहा है, एआई को बहुत प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, काफ़ी सारे प्रोडक्ट्स पे काम कर रहे हैं जो मुझे यहाँ पे दिखा। सो जितने भी एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं यहाँ पे, जो इंजीनियर्स काम कर रहे हैं, उनको वो सारी फैसिलिटीज़ चीज़ें दी जा रही हैं एआई के अराउंड, और चीज़ें एआई में बहुत डेवलप हो रही हैं। इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट प्रॉम्प्टिंग ऑन ChatGPT, इट इज़ अबाउट एक्चुअल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। तो बहुत कुछ जानने को मिला, मेरा भी एक अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था। उम्मीद है इस पूरी वीडियो ने आपको बहुत कुछ सिखाया होगा, एक माइंडसेट डेवलप हुआ होगा एआई के अराउंड। अगर आप लोग भी एआई में आना चाहते हो, आप जॉब ढूंढ रहे हो, मैंने लिंक दे रखा है सर्विसनाउ का करियर पेज, बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं एआई के अराउंड, आप चेकआउट कर सकते हो, अप्लाई करो दबा के। एंड विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। बाकी इस वीडियो को लाइक करना, शेयर करना, कमेंट करना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, और नहीं हो तो सब्सक्राइब जरूर करना अलॉन्ग विद बेल आइकन। थैंक यू सो मच, मिलते हैं जल्दी, सी यू, बाय बाय।